Hello, this is David Attenborough. And contrary to what you think behind me, the trees are actually belong to Magazine Streets, the home of many, many mansions that were getting repainted at the time of our visit. I guess they were recovering after Mardi Gras. But thank you guys very much. Thank you for coming to Stone Soup. Our feature tonight is Toni Blue Rose or Toni Rose or just Toni. Miss Rose, if you're nasty, sponsor, hosts and performer in many places, host of many events, usually annually coming in April. I'm sure she's got to tell you about them, and hosted an amazing event with her at the Dudley Cafe in what is now called Nubian Square. That was years ago before Stone Soup went underground and online or above ground and online. Take your pick, or above ground and offline. At any rate, Toni was an early feature for Stone Soup during the Zoom years, and she is back again for us. We're going to do the online open mic. It's good to have some of you back. It's good to have some of you here for the first time. It's good to have some of you back after a while. Hi, Jan and James. But we're going to go now to Mary Jennings to kick off this open mic. The number one spot could be anyone. Could be you, could be me.
Uh, hold on, hold on. Oh, I'm on. Okay. Yeah. All right. Is a love child ballad called The Ballad of Keeping the Peace. Virtue is all smoke and mirrors, smoke blown where the sun don't shine, a mirror to cast a favorable reflection on the undeserving. What cost to sting like a hornet, to cause internal pain and hives? If you speak up, you will catch flack for being thick with emotion. Your brother won't have that problem. Benched for life because you bear the burden of reputation. Picking fights is also a burden. Living with resentment is one as well, when the miscreant gets to live with peace and the esteem of his family and community. For keeping peace, you don't have it. It becomes, why bother? You won't be believed. Speak now, make the air thick with emotion, stir up the hornet's nest and stick with it. It won't be peaceful, but know this, only snakes should crawl. Thank you.
Terrible. Thank you, Mary. Up next on the open mic, I'd like to bring up Mr. Ron Bremer. Good to have you back, sir.
Oh, good to be here. Kiss my night, fondle my day. I want to marry your sorrows, your pains, your entire self of memories and mendacities, of rejects and rebirths, of homes and aways, before it's too late for both of us. Feed me the hunger that you wear under your skin. Take me on a wooden journey to the land of destined disappointment, where I'll design my imagination struggle to negate the confirmation of failure and celebrate the erroneous. Let me hitch your wagon to the stragglers of fate in hopes to survive the coming faith. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, and maybe all have a pleasant evening. Let's continue the pleasantness with Rita Rusty Rose.
Yes, thank you, Chad. I'm going to read something from the Suffolk County Poetry Review, something I wrote. This is 2025. Uh, it's an anthology of local poets. This is Spring Too Late. You are too late, spring, for I am in the winter of my life. I waited countless summer days when fruit was ripe for picking. flowers were in bloom. You never noticed me, the thornless rose amongst the red. Spring, you are too late for youthful kisses and middle-age hugs. Autumnal opportunities passed with every frivolous season. Still, in reverie, visions persist. They are complete with each seasonal shift. Spring, regrettably, you are late. Withered are tomorrow's blossoms, and nothing climatic could melt this wintry heart. Thank you.
While while we're going through the open mic, I do want to post the email from Finn Hall from his printing press, like a bolt from the blue. Tonight is the last night he's accepting work on the Trump regime. I believe the tentative title of the anthology is Orange is Not a Color. Submit 2 poems to the Gmail address I just shared, like a bolt from the blue at gmail.com. I'm sure some of you already have.
That's blot from
The
the blue, Chad.
like a
Blot
oh, I'm
from the
sorry,
blue.
like blot from the blue. You are correct. My bad. I read that too fast. Okay, so you certainly said something. But on with the open mic, and I'd like to bring up next Miss Jan Rowe. Jan, welcome back.
Thank you. Um, this has a tentative title, Forced Out Frenzy. It's the inspiration is the large and increasing amount of real estate in Manhattan that's bought cash with no mortgage. So I'm getting freaked out. Second, about artificial intelligence price fixing rents. There's 6 of them now doing it. So the hedge funds in US, they own 300,000 houses, and the rental price fixing is about 4,000 a month. We just returned from 2 weeks in the Netherlands. Um, we got there by overnight ferry from Newcastle, and the hedge fund there is getting rid of their housing because if something is bought and is not lived in, there's 11% tax. So I remember we were priced out at the turn of the century. Some of our friends said by then we were right, but I have helped elders stay in their houses. So I don't know why the hedge funds in these states have $300,000. I guess moolah, 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 money, money, money. Greed, greed, greed. So that's Forced Out Frenzy, the tentative title. Thank you.
300,000
Houses, yes.
houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan. A couple of people I've never seen before. If you're interested in participating in the open mic, Eileen, Kayla, you can let me know in the comments. Now let's bring it over to Mr. Richard Spizak, the self-proclaimed poet of Three Rivers.
You're muted, Richard.
They'll be enforcing
There you go.
proper ideology, and that's just the next stop on this train to what did he call it? No, it wasn't executive action. It was, oh, that's right, dictator from day one. Here we go. Improper ideology. Improper ideology requires no apology. Say it once again for me. Revising history for the moneyed class has the intrinsic value of digestive gas. Why, as they would have it, as if certain realities never came to pass, it is to define an ideology which in retrospect seems to me more like a dusty antique theology. Sure, if you were to mistakenly say that women have always had the vote, hey, scratch that guy, he might be troubled. Please take note. His troubles doubled. And single women could always float alone or order a phone or buy a home. Hey, wait a sec. Why was she alone? Has she left her man borrowing his charger card when he's out of hand? Why, that's so revisionist. I heard from some important white man. No, 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 this shall not stand. No women were executives. What are you thinking? Never, never, none were ever up in the sky, and pilots, though boyishly stinking. Slavery was just full employment. It was a government plan. Even the smallest toddler could enjoy it as long as he could, albeit swaying and wavering, stand. And when they sold your ma and pa waiting and debating, you might find yourself left standing alone in some saloon or bar till some other generous white man picked up your tab. They're such a musical people with such a gift of gab. Science was always and only advanced by men. You heard it right. Let's say it together once again. Such men would never take advantage of their female lab partners, friends. These men would never claim unearned scientific achievement. They'd sooner suffer their own embarrassing and deeply shamed bereavement. And schools for blacks were never fully funded. Anyone saying so has committed a serious political blunder. To even suggest that polluted places somehow to be accidentally located near the darker races. This is only said to malign the ruling class. And frankly, if by now you don't know it, you can kiss my pass card. En garde, this too shall pass. And those burden needing protecting watersheds, it's never needed. These claims are exceeded by the troubling aboriginals. It's never been true that we lock their children up in steeples. To even think that we've been so imperfect is truly creeple. Let me cheer you with my soulful glance. Look right here in my hypnotic electronic eye. Wouldn't I? Improper ideology? No, no, never, never, regardless of how clever or misleading, requires an apology. Honoring great men and women of science who coincidentally are rich in darker skin seems hardly, but certainly a vaster sin. I guess should never cause a mortal member of the consuming class the least distress, but ruling class men such as these are often nearly consumed by greed, seem somehow only to elevate those with pale pink, albeit pigeon toes. That's just how it goes. Improper ideology.
Thank you, Mr. Spizak. Up next, some artistic show and tell by our residential visual poet from Delaware. Let's welcome up Mr. Robert Fleming. Oh, and let's get permissions to share.
Thank you, Chad. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a digital artist and visual poet from Lewis, Delaware, and I will be sharing some political visual images tonight. Since the last artist who created the sample presidential portrait was rejected, I have created some digital art options, and I will share those with you tonight. And you will also have an opportunity to share which image you think is the true likeness of our current president. So this is the original photograph that I started with. And then here is the study, the digital art study that I did. And then I continued and made larger images of the ones that I thought were promising. So on the top right, I would say we have a little bit of a green parakeet, and on the bottom we have a blue parakeet. In the center, have a filter called voxel art, which makes a person look like Lego. These are some more options which I thought were possibles, and some more. And would anybody like to unmute or put in the chat which one is their favorite?
I vote for the blockhead.
The blockhead?
Okay, me too.
Hmm. So that would be the voxel art, right? The on the left side, the second one down.
Correct.
Okay. Any other favorites? Rusty, would you like to unmute and say which is your favorite?
Drape that sucker in a rainbow flag.
Oh, so the trippy split on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mixed marmalade.
You like the marmalade? Like
Yeah,
the green parakeet?
yeah.
Okay. Now I will reveal which was my favorite, and it's this one because I think it shows his true nature.
Mhm.
I didn't see that. I didn't miss that one, but there's that. Yeah, all the colors together. That's good. Looks like a demon in there.
Yes, a demon. And then we have another series that the White House is working on, which is for the gift shop. It's called the MAGA collection. And here are some of the options that we have. On the left side, we have Trump on a phone or on a t-shirt or on a hoodie. And here are some of my top favorites. The one putting Trump on a cup. I really hope to get, you'd see in the center of the bottom, it's called the Justin Bieber Trump hoodie. And if people really like that one, I could try to get a group price for us. And then the one on the right is what you would put in your powder room above the toilet. These are some specials that the gift shop is going to offer for Father's Day. On the left side, we have Trump on a watch. And then we also have, for your special MAGA breakdown projects, we have Trump on a drill, on a saw, electric saw, and on a regular saw. And the winner, the number one bestseller currently in the White House gift shop, is this one. It is Trump for in the powder room above the toilet. So thank you for sharing, and I will let you know whether my work is selected for the presidential portrait, and I will let you know when I get my sales commissions for those items in the White House gift shop.
Everyone else is making a buck off of him. Why not you? Up next, we'll bring up Mr. John Wezick.
Oh, look at that. You asked me to unmute. Okay, well, this kind of started as a joke. You heard me right here saying we wanted to read our poems in the voice of William Shatner, and then, Bill, Robert, and I and actually got together and read T.S. Eliot's Wasteland in the voice of William Shatner. But that wasn't enough. This is called The Warpland, or If T.S. Eliot Watched Star Trek. Hechma Kak Javam for Gene Roddenberry. 1. It's dead, Jim. 5928.5 is the cruelest star date, breeding Bracken's world out of the airwaves, mixing westerns and cop shows, stirring Ironside with Nielsen ratings. Winter kept me enthralled, covering the Beta Quadrant in Klingons and Romulans, space battles with phasers and photon torpedoes. Summer surprised me coming home from high school to a shower of reruns. I pulled weeds and rode a riding lawnmower and read Heinlein and ate TV dinners and thought of Christmas, our aluminum tree colored red, yellow, green, and blue by rotating lights. Behind the lava lamp and Dad's ashtray, I watched Kirk, Spock, and Bones end war and defeat bigotry in 50 minutes, plus commercials on the big console TV. Peace, freedom, justice, equality, civilization, the quest for knowledge. Who were the sponsors? What content grew out of this cultural wasteland? I dream of Genie, Gomer Pyle, Dragnet, and Item 12, a heap of sweaty tropes where dollars rule and brain-dead scripts provoke no thought but silent majority preconcessions. You placed a lilac in a guardsman's rifle. They called you Kent State Lilac Girl. In return, the National Guard placed bullets in your chest and stomach. Despite 4 dead, the governor dined on steak, rare and bloody. The keeper of Talos 4, head big as a pumpkin, veins pulsing with psychic power, distracting America with fantasies while its sons died unnoticed in Nam like victims of simulated attacks on Emenier 7. Who wouldn't prefer saving a sultry blonde from a fur-clad barbarian by an Arabian Nights castle, or feasting by a pool with a green-skinned dancer to a gas crisis, stagflation, and wars of ego? Who wouldn't prefer the Love Boat, Columbo, All in the Family, Maude, the Jeffersons, to ideals betrayed and victories squandered? Those are flowers in the sky. Look, here is the Commodore, a door impervious to phasers, a lady bent and misshapen, now young and beautiful, a refuge for a hero crippled by radiation, locked in a wheelchair, unable to speak. Here he can be young and vital again. Iconic bridge, like a TV viewer, the captain sits in an easy chair viewing the screen. Helmsman and navigator push buttons, flip rocker switches, and read analog dials. Red shirts, blue shirts, circle, stakeholders. The automatic door whispers whoosh. No one wears seatbelts in the 23rd century. 2. Easter on Vulcan. There was AIDS and Reagan and Star Trek the motion picture. 136 minutes of self-congratulation while chasing an interstellar ice cream cone. We needed a story. We needed Ricardo Montalban's puka beads and bare chest. We needed a worm tunneling Chekhov's impacted earwax, persuading him to trade up from Reliant K's to a Chrysler Cordoba's fine Corinthian leather. We say Cordoba, not Cordoba. Spock died, then rose again on the 3rd day, as did the Enterprise NCC 1701A. Easter bunnies died eggs on orange sand on planet Vulcan. That chair I sat in at the card table used for a dex, pencil smudging doctoral dreams, Q values, Stokes theorems, Clebsch-Gordon coefficients. My mind drained, wrung out, I escaped to red uniforms over white turtlenecks, LEDs, cathode ray tubes, Lissajous figures in blue and green on black screens, thunder speaking among pink and purple swaths, and this interstellar ice cream cone, not strawberry, not pistachio, but humpback whale, with a topping of Armageddon. Time travel played for laughs, as did El Capitan and horseback charges, Klingons, shoulder pads, Brezhnev eyebrows, patchy beards, splattered Pepto-Bismol blood, inside rattle-trap reptile skin bird of prey, bald eye patch general with Hare Krishna ponytail, show trial, saber-toothed guard dog, and plot foiled. We thought the Cold War over until Klingon warbirds devastated Kiev. Rephrase the Schrodinger kitty litter, he says, as if I already hadn't spent 8 hours adjusting the gravimetric deflectors and rebalancing the neutron coils. Ensign Zorax, report to engineering. You're lucky he lets you do anything. When asked how I could help, my commander told me to bring him a cup of coffee. I wanted to spit in it. Ensign Zorax, report to engineering. If you ever want to get promoted, you have to make the bridge crew notice you. Good luck with that. I spent 12 shifts polishing Fresnel integrals and sorting neutrino diodes, but he took all the credit during inspection. Face it, we're stuck on the lower decks forever. Ensign Zorax, report to engineering. Well, at least we have Andorian vodka. Want another? No, I'm pulling a graveyard. Ensign Zorax, report to engineering. Ensign Zorax, report to engineering. Good night, Ensign. Good night, Ensign. Good night, Ensign. Good night, ta-ta. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. And I will stop it there. There are 3 more sections to it, but that is the war plan.
Oh, my Lord. Thank you, Mr. Wezek. Can't wait to see that in a chapbook. I'm going to ask Countess Wellness if she'd like to read, or perhaps Eileen or Kayla if they're interested in reading. I'm going to assume the silence means not yet or not right now. So I'm going to go to Mr. Brian Franco for one of our last people on the open mic. Actually, we have 3 left. Thank you, Countess. You just said just here to support current. Well, feel better, please. Good Lord. I appreciate your resilience.
Okay,
I just read the chat. But Brian Franco, you're next,
bear,
Generalissimo.
bear with me 1 second. I was just eating some. Gotta just wipe some food off my face. Bear with me.
Mhm.
So I pulled up 2 poems. Let's see what I have for you. They're here somewhere. Okay, that's one, but the other one did not come up. Hold on 1 second. Um, it is one. Okay, great. So the first is a kind of an old poem I wrote in a workshop a long time ago. And why is it not showing up? Here it is. Um, why I was blackballed by the big bad wolf. I decided a long time ago I don't want to be buried. I think the idea of having a gravestone for others to visit is morose and selfish. For other, I think the idea of having a gravestone for others to visit is morose and selfish. I want to be cremated and my ashes tossed from the Randall's Island walking bridge, which overlooks where I used to jog when I lived in New York City. I wake around 6 a.m. and walk 4 blocks to the 60th Street heliport, where the East River Riverwalk started, and jogged 3.5 miles to 125th Street, then back down to 103rd, where the walking bridge was. At that time in my life, I felt like I'd achieved a sense of self when I was jogging, when I was fighting the manifestation of severe chemical depression and trying to accept that a career in advertising was never going to happen. But if my brothers decide they want to visit me, I'd like to be in a mausoleum. I want my ashes to be put into an everything bottle. Everything was a cologne brand I invented for a project in advertising class. Its bottle was a strange zigzaggy shape that was the same shape if turned upside down. The teacher, who was a visiting creative from New York, said my cologne and campaign was the most likely to succeed in the real world. I never got the chance to work in advertising. The real world didn't think I was good enough. When I think about the architecture of my mausoleum, I'd like it to look like a house of cards. I know I must be a Brady Bunch fan, but my life is a deck of cards that has built so many houses that fell. The big bad wolf has sent me a letter stating any house made of my life would be way too easy for him to blow down. And then this is my latest poem, which is titled "That Time I Pulled a Melon Out of a Hat." I'm a hat person. I collect them. For me, I wear a specific hat sometimes when I feel a certain way. I guess hats are my inanimate emotional support animals. But there's an issue with my head. I suffer from a diagnosis of melon-headedness. Melon-headedness requires hat wearers to always purchase size extra large hats. Even large slash extra large sized hats sometimes don't fit. Of course, it's also par for the course for one size fits all hats, which definitely do not fit all heads. Back in the day, hat stores and certain clothing stores had hat stretcher devices for the melon-headedness community. These were like mannequin heads made of wood with a mechanism that opened the width of the head to stretch hats. Now one can buy a plastic hat stretcher that is basically just a brow rather than a whole head. I've considered buying one on Amazon, but since there is no cure for my disorder slash deformity, which often precludes me from purchasing a really cool hat like the Ren and Stimpy driving cap that was one size fits all but was really a small or maybe a medium, I digress. That incident was a double whammy since I'm a giant Ren and Stimpy fan. My shrink at the time, who was an anxiety specialist, told me to chalk it up as another thing in my life that is beyond my control. He didn't get it, even though I know now he did. It just wasn't worth the anxiety energy. Over a decade and a half later, that sort of situation happens at least half a dozen times a year. When it happens, when I get in the car, I bring up Amazon on my phone and type hat stretchers into the search, but I have yet to press add to cart, proceed to checkout, and place your order. Thank you.
Thank you, Generalissimo. Our second to last reader on the open mic, Mr. Bill Lewis.
Thank you so much, Chadford. It is such a pleasure to be here. I should like to begin by bragging, if I may, or bragging. I would like to read you a letter that I just received recently. Hello, Bill. We're excited to let you know that your session, the Williamsburg Powder Raid, Madison Meets Henry, has been accepted for inclusion in History Camp Boston 2025. Your proposal stood out from amongst a field of 70 submissions, and we're thrilled to feature your voice and expertise with history lovers from come around the world for our biggest camp ever. Thank you very much, Jesse Rossi, admin. I am going to be in Boston speaking at History Camp. Woo, I made it. I am cool. So that is way cool. And I thought I'd share that with you. And this, as many of you know, I have been fairly emphatic about the what I see as the failure of Boston and Massachusetts in general to deal with homelessness. And my friend, who is now homeless, is having a big rally. It is going to be a sleep-in on the steps in Boston of the Boston of the State House. And so on the 1st of May, if you give a flying fig about homelessness, you have to be there. This is, in my very not humble opinion, it's time to change things. So there's my advertisement. And now a little bit of my own creation. This I wrote, I don't know how long ago, but where did it go? There it is. Ahem. Don't ruin the gloves. That's the final reminder my dad gave me before taking off for the slopes. I was 6 years old on skis for the first time in my life, and now I was alone in a winter wonderland, free to ski anywhere I wanted, just so long as I didn't ruin the gloves. The excitement of shuffling along the snow at 1 mile an hour quickly wore off. I started longing for the thrill I experienced when Dad held me between his legs and took me up the bunny slope. I wanted that bunny slope. The problem was the bunny slope only had one conveyance up, a rope tow. And Dad expressly forbid me from ruining the gloves, which the rope tow certainly would have done, so I decided to climb the hill. Do you have any idea how hard it is for a 6-year-old to climb up a hill and down hill skis? I made it no more than halfway up before I wore out. I was tired and bored, so I turned around and sped down the slope. It was exhilarating. I climbed again, eyeing the kids over on the rope tow who were going up and down 3 times as fast. Again, I turned and flew down the mountain. Such excitement, so addictive. I wanted more. I needed more. I wanted that rope tow. Clearly, I could not use the gloves. I had promised my dad, and I don't break promises, especially when it would be so obvious. So I looked at the rope tow with lust. I looked at the steep hill on the other side that I had taken, so tedious to climb. I'd grabbed onto rope tows and tug of wars and stuff like that. How much more could it hurt? The answer is a lot, a whole heck of a lot. It stings like crazy when you first grab it and it runs through your hands. Once you've latched on or speeding up, it isn't so bad. Then when you release it, it starts to burn for real. And it keeps burning with intensity no matter how much snow you pack into your hands. When the snow finally loved my hands enough to stop crying, I turned to my great final descent. The bunny hill was mine. I surveyed my realm with pride. For a brief moment, the entire slope and all the people on it were mine. I slashed wildly down the slope, flying over numerous moguls, tearing past the trees at breakneck speed. I was king of the bunny slope. And then it was over. I decided not to do the rope tow again. My hands hurt way too much. I simply wandered back and forth in front of the lodge until Dad returned hours later. I knew in his heart Dad truly felt bad for me in my pain, but he could not control himself enough to suppress a snicker. Nor could any of his friends when he repeated that story time and time again.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. And to close out our open mic before getting to the feature, and thank you all for waiting patiently, we have Mr. James Van Loy himself. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks, Chad. So I just have a little short piece. This is called Borderline. So, Borderline, traveling for the seventh heaven, or is it the eighth depth of the hell? We pass through the security gates. They put up higher, ever higher, and lower, ever lower to the depths we can feel the python clutch coils of their systematic overreach into our pockets and so deep down into our very souls. But amazingly, we feel ever less safe in our very vulnerability, this fragile world, this great growing universe dissipating away. We are so together in ourselves, feeling we are all so collective in our explicit individuality. We see exactly what they are doing and exactly who we sure are. And here's a little song to go with that. I dreamed I dwelled in homeless place where I was lost alone. Folk looked right through me into space and passed with eyes of stone. Oh, homeless hand on many a street, accept this change from me. A friendly smile or word is sweet as fearless charity. Woe, working man who hears this cry and cannot spare a dime, nor look into a homeless eye, afraid to give the time. So rich are poor, no call to talk. A smile on your face, the homeless ones where you may walk, receive amazing grace. And that was, of course, Allen Ginsberg's version of uh, Amazing Grace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. And now we move on to the feature for tonight. I'm excited. I know a lot of people are excited and have been waiting. So let's go to tonight's feature and read the almighty boilerplate. I love the feature boilerplate, the bio. Let's read and rejoice. Who is Toni Rose? Well, that depends on who you ask. Trouble to some, faithful friend to others, mother, daughter, sister, victim, survivor, lover, fighter, champion, confidant, artist, and poet. Toni's poetry has a strong emphasis on the struggles of life. She paints a picture with words that can be heart-wrenching truths. Toni Rose is the founder of the Blue Rose, which Stone Soup has been proud enough to participate in with. The Blue Rose is a movement that empowers others to find their voice, speak up, and be heard. Toni Blue Rose is a spoken word artist who became a matters level clinician who believes in healing through art therapies. Toni pushes through the dark times, sometimes stumbling, sometimes doubting, but never gives up hope and never gives up the fight. Those that are willing can listen and feel that glimpse into her soul with a gritty, real, heart-wrenching, and perfect in its imperfection and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 30, 45 times for Toni Rose.
Good evening. Can y'all hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I am so unorganized for tonight, and that's not like me. I have so many different poems swarming around my head, and what I've been working on has been trying to combine therapy and poetry, and it's been amazing. Um, I use it with my clients. They get a choice of a poem, storyboard, journaling. And one of the big things that I do with them is this poem that I love that I have no idea who wrote it. And I want to share that first because it's kind of that life mantra where you don't beat yourself up when people come into your life and leave. So it's reason, seasons, or lifetime. People always come into your life for a reason, season, or lifetime. When you figure out which it is, you know exactly what to do. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need you have expressed outwardly or inwardly. They have come to assist you through a difficulty or to provide you with guidance and support, to aid you physically, emotionally, or even spiritually. They may seem like a godsend to you, and they are. They are there for the reason you needed them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part or at the inconvenient time, this person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die, sometimes they just walk away, sometimes they act up and force you to take a stand. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire fulfilled, their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and it is now time to move on. When people come into your life for a season, it is because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They may bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something you have never done. They usually give you unbelievable amounts of joy. Believe it, it's real, but only for a season. And like spring turns to summer and summer to fall, the season eventually ends. Lifetime relationships teach you lifetime lessons. Those things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lesson, love the person anyway, and put what you have learned to use in all other relationships and areas in your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. Thank you for being a part of my life, whether you were a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I love this piece because it's one of those where when I come into a client's life, I can be a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And we process it in that way. And people have come into my life for the same reasons. I think what I've decided to do with some of my pieces today, because my goal is to do some workshops, art therapy workshops, so that people can understand the mental health components that are out there without feeling that intrusiveness from the insurance companies, medical records, and stuff. So, as a poet, I can do this. As a survivor, I can do this. And it's not me being a clinician telling you how you're supposed to feel. It's me reading you a poem and you telling me how you feel. And I'm not analyzing it. So I love it. And I've used clients. So this one, to be able to explain mental health better, this one I feel is really significant. It's called the power differential. The power differential makes her feel she must comply with all providers of authority and does not have a voice to express her needs or wants without feeling she will be penalized. Major depressive disorder, cannabis use disorder, schizoaffective disorder, adjustment disorder with anxiety, delusional disorder, not specified, specified trauma and stress disorder. Diagnosed within 24 hours, asking you to share your deepest secrets, worries, and thoughts. We also want family history, educational background, and anything else we can think of because the insurance company requires it. 8 diagnoses in 20 years, no medication required for the past 7. White woman of mixed ancestry on trial for parental fitness due to past mental health issues. Perceived as a typical white girl raised in a religious two-parent household. At 14 years old, she started experimenting. She overdosed, was hospitalized, prescribed that same medication. What a mental health contradiction. Meeting a clinician virtually for the first time, defined as delusional. Prejudiced therapist stood in judgment. When honesty is all my client knew. Chanting historical facts, rumination of Eugene Bueller, kill them. I am not supposed to be a mother. Schizophrenic people were supposed to be sterilized. Chest tightens, racing thoughts, digress to unnecessary details, avoids and circles back with a logical answer. Her history did not define her, but it played an important role in who she is. As a young adult, she learned her lesson. She asked for help, racist counter transferred. When you sent DCF, the police to her front door, psych evaluation mandatory. Discharge with recommendation she is not a danger to herself or others. The system validated her fears when they removed her son anyway. Paranoid white women should not be talking to the Black professionals about the politics of Black Lives Matter and police brutality. The mother of a biracial child did what she was supposed to do then. She watched how the police manhandled that Black man. She feared and questioned the compassion her son would one day receive. Observation, a very literal individual who struggled with body language, facial expressions, and my sarcasm goes over her head. So when she answers the question, she's looking at it from her perspective, which makes her wrong, always apologizing for not being perfect. New therapist apologizes for her ignorance and annoyance. The ramblings of historical facts, although her coping mechanism, I personally hate history. I told her there was a time and a place, and I had to realize sometimes that time and place was with me. But I struggle to listen and I will read between the lines. I apologize for those clinicians that did not hear. A mix of anxiety, depression, and PTSD, topped off with a learning disability. Her life presented to her in a PowerPoint presentation allowed for trust and improved communications. So I get my clients' permissions before I do their poems and read them. And the one thing she said when I did this poem is I had to make sure that I mentioned Bueller. If I didn't put his name in there, then I could not write or read the poem. So that was exciting, and I had to research him a little bit and practice his name. The next piece that I'm going to do, and it's funny, I should be sharing my screen because I'm reading them. And because I work with different ages, I put visuals on there. And they have to be visuals that are eye-catchy to me as an artist because I don't want to be bored. So I don't want to bore them. But this poem is written in a whole different style that I'm not used to writing in. And because I didn't learn poetry from actual poetry books, I don't know what style it is. Maybe somebody can tell me. It's called Tornado Like Abuse. In this piece, I actually give to my clients to do a trauma board, and I give them specific questions to answer based on different colors. Like a tornado, personalities abuse destructive forces. Fantasies, a dream, out of body experience, innocence shattered. Muscles tense, eyes closed, tears well, sweating, pounding heart, abusers approach. Family secrets, accusations avoided, guilt, pain minimized. Tremors and twitches mentally rotates dead souls, whirling phobias. Nightmare uncovered, lightning strikes, ribs, lungs, gas, forces of nature. Bruised, bloody body, self-mutilated victim, aroused emotions. Bad dreams, overlooked, intense tightness of horror, shamed, isolation. Perpetrators lie, tornado forces silent, it was not your fault. Damage past, flashbacks, thunderstorm, terror, hatred. Real, imagine. Self-blame, encompass, threats behind broken silence, strengthen in voices heard. Rebuild trust, healing, veto the past, erase guilt, recapture control. Paralyzed hostage. One voice empowers many. Let go and heal through art. And before I forget, and while I look for my next piece, paralyzed hostage, you like that? Hey, while I look for my next piece, you can absolutely unmute and communicate with me. It'll make me feel less anxious.
No one's got any comments? It's usually a comment-heavy crowd.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Really
there.
enjoyed it. Really did.
Thank you.
Bravo.
And I like the way you brought in the, should we say, the psychosocial dynamic as well as evocatively using lovely metaphors. Thank you.
Thank you. And I love that because English was my worst subject in school. Um, my friend on here, Miss Eileen, we went to high school together. So that's who she is. And it's really funny because it's like English was just the hardest subject. So I don't even know what a metaphor is, literally. I just know what I feel in just the best ways to explain it. So I love this.
Well, then let me say you explain things beautifully and with an elegant use of language. How's that?
Thank you. I love it. Um, so I'm also a believer that everything happens for a reason. So I feel like when I get assigned a client, it's because I'm going through something too, and I need to learn a lesson. Um, so this next piece, death hits people differently, depending on the traumatic event that took your loved one's life. Unexpected natural causes, suicide, murder, hospice, counting down hours, minutes, and seconds. There were 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. The misunderstanding is thinking you go through all of these stages. The misunderstanding is believing that there's an order in which to go through these stages. Grief is an overwhelming sadness sprinkled with a mixture of other emotions. It came knocking at our door when my children lost a close friend. That countdown of 3 hits the mind. I have accepted that my mother lived her best life, family first, but I expected my father to go first. Anonymous definition: dementia. This disease is like the teeth of God biting into liquor, chocolate, and sucking all of the memories out of your head. Like a maraschino cherry, there is no cure. I've been afraid, sensing his agony, a double edged sword of loving family on top of fading memories. They both rest without pain. A sense of freedom. Guilty thoughts swirl around from last conversations. Did I make her feel she was stopping me from living my life? Nah, my mom accepted me for who I am. She encouraged me to be unapologetically me in the open. I wondered how open she's being in the afterlife. Joy in knowing that she met her great granddaughter and set that foundation as she did with all that came before her. Fear that the role of matriarch falls onto me. It doesn't change what I've been doing, but it's more than continuing the legacies and traditions. It's building that foundation, that strength in the name of family. Always there when it counts. Love that is everlasting does not change the swirls of emotions. I'm not mad. My emotions present as anger. This anger is embedded into the core of my soul. Anger in the knowledge her brothers did not look out for their only sister. I'm angry personally and professionally. I understand aspects of suicide, the need for their life to be over. Lucci, light and love is all my friends showed, but it could not replace his internal demons. I am angry I don't get one more memory. Denial: in the past 2 years, I've been grieving a 20-year friendship, not the 10-year partnership. Abandoned, a really big fear that I never understood why I'm often choked on commitment, on monogamy. My boundaries questions, criticized, yet I never left you wondering, or have I? I'm not mad. My presentation, anger. I'm feeling disappointed. My thoughts, fuck you. 7 deadly men, their sin, my virtue. I never expected them to be like me. No one can ever be like me. I expected them to be true to their words. I expected them to express communication, their wants and needs. I expected them, after a decade plus of friendship, not to ghost me, not to just fit me in, not just check in to get their needs filled. I'm not mad. I'm sad that friendship meant blowing smoke up my ass. There's no denial in this loss, but sometimes a question of reality. A depression where I want to lock myself in my dark room, not alone, hold me in silence while I process. Damn, she's gone. My mom is dead. Damn, he's gone. My dad is at peace. His light has dimmed. They are free from pain. The love lingers on from generation to generation. Our parents were 4 generations in. They had great grandchildren. There is an emptiness that's hard to fill, a loud silence in the halls. Holding on, moving forward, holding on, allowing memories to carry me, lost in thought. The bargaining is for me. Give me the energy to keep pushing forward. Ease the pains, both physical and emotional. Give me breath to live and carry on in the name of family as I navigate the cycles of grief. Whew. So when I wrote that one, it became easier because one of my clients that came to me taught me that grief is not just physically losing somebody, but her other part of the grief was having cancer. and losing a part of her body at the same time. So I was also so she's grieving a dead husband and I'm grieving a dead relationship. So it was like when the relationship finally ended, it was like almost easy. It's like, here, drop this off. It's yours. I don't need it and you're gone. And it just works. Am I depressing everybody? All right. I have another one. So I told you I'm going through stuff like clients, we talk about it. And I got this new client that was talking about anxiety and when she goes to sleep at night. Um, and she would go to sleep with her TV blasting. And although she was apologetic for her neighbors, she needed to hear that loudness. And as we talked about it and everything, now she turns her TV down to about a 5 or a 6, and she's not watching the cartoons anymore. So it's like a process. But because we had talked about it and I was going through one of them nighttime anxiety feelings, I wrote her poem. That nighttime anxious feeling, decompressing, breathing, letting go of the day. Tightness in chest, tears behind back of eyelids, heaviness in your heart, breath caught in throat, loneliness but not lonely. Emptiness but so full of love, appreciation, and acceptance. The silence is so loud. I've done the work I ask clients to do. Tears fog glasses, stain blurred visions. Triggers in everyday living drip down my face. As I turn down the distractions, TV, YouTube, video games, I can't shut it all down at once. Start with TV, calming background noises. For me, it's the rain, sometimes with thunder and sometimes without. Fireplace crackling, visions of orange, red flicker within the screen. My heart fills with positive memories, camping. That time of year is coming. That time of year is actually coming. We're going in July. Playing games on my phone, my last jolts of relaxation slowly races isolation on the task at hand. Merge and mansion, story mode, mission type activities. Good sorting, match 3, racing the clock makes the time constraints of slam poetry less anxiety provoking. I no longer see Flavor Flav in front of me dangling that timepiece, strangling my neck. To breathe, keep pace, you got this. Spades if I'm feeling competitive. No matter the game, there's just that one thought, eyelids getting heavy, phone falling forward. Has your phone ever smacked you in the face? Startled, not moving, wondering, did anyone see that? Laughing at self, tired as fuck, still trying to play my game. Rain soothing, fire warming, bed or body grabs hold, snuggles me into peaceful dreams. Before nature, I meditate on higher self trip, healing energy, subconsciously healing, mentally, physically, and spiritually, till I wake in the morning working on. I made a morning playlist. It goes a little something like this. I hype me up, I gas me up, I push through, I'm humble, I'm powerful beyond measure. When the trouble of life weighs you down, hold on, change is coming. Even though I hurt, I smile. Good morning, gorgeous. I see you're hurt, I see who you are. Smile for me. Thank you. What are we looking at for time?
You got time for two or three more if you like.
Okay, I don't mind. Look, this is a good decompressing from doing therapy sessions all day. Mm. So thinking about how people come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. Switch up just a little bit. Well, not completely. So one of my clients, she's African, and her losing her husband, she was teaching me what it means to be a man, what relationships are supposed to be. So it's like you can like one aspect of a person and not like the other. So she was breaking some of that down. And then I got into a new relationship. So we call this 50s grown, grown, not just 50s grown, new adventures grown, new relationships grown. Our embrace so entwined, metamorphosed into one cocoon by his embrace, letting it all go. Safe, free, unapologetically me. Boundaries unchained. When he hears my words, sees my fears, feels my trepidations, acknowledged with empathy. A song, a hug, silently listening, understanding he does not have to fix me to be in support of me. Gentle touch, light as a feather, heavy in energy, creates a safety net for building trust. Worries. Are we moving too fast? Grown folk in our 50s, we've been down these roads before. Is the newness a smokescreen? Trauma bonding? No, I don't believe so. It's communicating, it's connecting with a new level of communication, lessons learned, applied, change thinking, drowning out the traumas of reality. He was the answers to my prayers. God, I just want someone to hold me, let me cry while silently hearing the way grief trampled my soul. It's more than spooning, hands encompassed under the pillow over the waist. It's exploring the world, eyes wide open. First dates along water edges, walking, talking, sharing between puffs of comfort, learning each other's story. A gentle tug on his arm, slow down, we are not pressed for time, kind of newness. Adult freedom, responsible for only us. The silence of togetherness, waves crashing against stone walls, taking in her beauty under the moonlight. Social setting, dinner for two, alone in a sea of energy as the universe brings us deeper into orbit, causing all others to fade into non existence. Blindfolded, trust building, senses prevail, gentle exploration, guessing the entree. Enticed by the main course, moving in comfort, hearing, guiding, supporting, removing insecurities, public displays of affection. Chivalry is not dead, opening doors, pulling out chairs, escorting, hand on base of back. Walking on the outside, leading with questions, active listening, not afraid of his feelings, not a slave to his pride. Sitcom series, movies, poetry events dissected and discussed. Compromising positions interrupts as gentle touches, slow grinds disrupt TV time. No rush, no compromise, rewind, reset, repeat. Parting ways is like going through withdrawals. His energy ignites me, places fuel to the fires of prosperity. Happiness, a driven force of wanting more, not settling for less, a priority. He's unlocked a passion, wanting to cook, not just confirm have you eaten, remove stresses of the day through touch, talk, late night showering, deep tissue penetration. I'm no longer lingering with one foot out the door, planted, ready to dance, spin me around, hold me against you, allow me to see what you see. I want us to flow together like the breeze that tickles leaves, caress my senses, stimulates my nerve endings. Weightless like never before. 50s grown. Um, so now I'm gonna talk a little trash. So I do slam poetry. Not a slam poet, but I'm a slam poet. I still go out there and read my stuff and share my messages. But when you are with a group of slam poets, that's like family. They crack you up, and then you just gotta talk trash. especially when some of them are just very theatrical and others have their stuff memorized. So I had to write this poem for the judges. I refuse to memorize my poetry. Those feelings already live in my body. I don't need to keep rehashing them in my head. These words were first written to set me free, to help me heal, to guide me in my truth. Reading it off my phone, tablet, or paper should not be the basis of your judgment. Hear this truth. I will never intentionally memorize my poetry. I would drown in that lingering pain of never forgetting. I would choke on the memories of family bullshit, wondering why I am the bad guy. Why the things you value and appreciate are the same things you hate if directed at you. Now there are some pieces I read with ease. They are favorites, the ones that make you the most uncomfortable, the ones that tell you you are not alone. I know you're wondering, why not the sex pieces? Do you know how distracted I would get? Do you not hear that crowd in what they say? Then there's the memories warming up my body. I'm trying not to let you see me orgasm on this stage. Yet sometimes I wish I memorized that one sex poem where I can chill in the varying stylish sunglasses, because you know I can't see without these. I could walk around the crowd, increasing that sexual tension. I refuse to memorize my poetry. PTSD triggers already fill up the empty spaces, sometimes trickling into the everyday living, tears between clients, deep breaths, do your job, emailing my tears after filling others with hope, belief, freedom, a voice. He asked me, what are you thinking? Are you okay? Seeing my thoughts racing like the electrical pain that runs through my veins. Fibromyalgia increases with stress, decreases with sex, love, intimacy, and poetry. I will never memorize my poetry because you believe there is more value in memorizing what has been written. Theatrics, yelling at the top of your lungs is not always the best word spoken. Sometimes it is the silence, the whisper, this energy, this mesmerizing stand at attention and awe of one's presence. I am Toni Blue Rose. I will never memorize my poetry because I don't have to. Thank you. One more? Mm, no, not that. Mm, so I'm going to share this one. So I have this piece. Wait a minute. Where is it? Mm, my stuff is so not in order. So because my middle school best friend is here, I'm going to read this piece because it talks about one of our classmates who always thought she was better than me. She thought she better than me. Best friend, not in competition, but competes for their attention, threatened by her openness. She uses their friendship to her advantage, Hispanic responsibilities. Her father might kill her if he found out. Me, I'm Black. I don't own, acknowledge, or fixate on the Hispanic parts of me. Why? We wasn't raised in the culture. No second language, some tasty tidbits here and there. I did not have to cater to the brothers old enough to make their own sandwich. I was the second oldest, but I did not stand in as a second mother like she did. I was her excuse, her escape, her wing woman. She was the epitome of a double standard. Her boyfriend lived by the zoo, quite fitting for the foolery she was getting into. Three-way phone calls, he wouldn't answer her, but he would answer me. He couldn't come meet her, but changed his mind when the request came from T. Bring that friend I like. He wanted to see me flattery. I didn't want him, or did I? I wanted to protect him, give him what she wasn't, intimacy, not sex. She was chasing after her brother's new friend, skinny, all right looking Puerto Rican, afraid to have me present. Honest to a fault, even back then, the white lies used to protect the heart of my friend doing dirty. When I tell her her boyfriend never answered, her boyfriend wanted to get into trouble. I don't understand her need to hold on to him while building a new connection. Cheating is cheating, always the male being accused while girls keep deflecting. Why can't I play with this puppet? I just want fantasy, intimacy. Come take a bubble bath with me. They're both grimy, using me put in the middle of their foolery. Her jealousy sent a predator my way. Years later, high school rivalry when fat boy not my type showed up to meet me. Smart ass sexual comments from past phone calls set the stage for an invasion of kisses, holding me tight. Yo, you're not my type. She should have known better than to play with your heart, knowing he was not my type. She thought she was better than me. Years later, she considered inviting me into her bed with a husband she never wanted next to me while I kept her boyfriend at bay. Middle school is a mystery, a stepping stone into the real world where honesty is a matter of convenience, not a necessity.
Keep the virtual and audible claps going for Toni Rose, Tony Blue Rose.
Thank you. Beauty, I miss you. Eileen, I'm coming to see you soon. I'm finding some money to get out there.
Someone now who we haven't seen for a while, Beauty. Beauty, would you like uh we don't use we try not to do this on every night, but we haven't seen you in a while. Would you like to do a closing poem as a kind of a late open mic entry?
Oh, I would love that.
If you don't want to, that's fine. I just wanted to offer because I love reunions.
Mm-hmm.
She might be away. But that was fantastic, Tony. I hope you consider coming back on your own for subsequent visits. We do this every week now, and next week we are celebrating Stone Soup Poetry's 54th anniversary. Good Lord.
Send me the invites through Facebook and I will remember to show up.
Sounds awesome. And just could having you here, one more person, and I'll be posting the information tomorrow of who the feature is. We finally got a Riri confirmation. Melissa Castillo is going to be the feature, or to be specific, Dr. Melissa Castillo Garso, who featured numerous times at Stone Soup um, back when we were still in locations, physical locations. Has since moved to, I believe, New York. Is very active as an author and activist. You should check out her Instagram page. And above all, check out her work. All of it phenomenal. I always regretted we never got a recorded feature, and now I can finally correct that with next week's feature, which is going to be on May 7th. And more features are going to be announced for the rest of the month. A lot of homecomings coming up. So hope you're all part of that. Thanks again. Thanks again to Tony for a marvelous job. Can't wait to have this play out. our archives are growing, and I want to get as much of Stone Soup's history as possible out there and local both Boston poetry, which is why I'm excited for the next features coming up from May. So looking forward to that, and hopefully a surprise friend returning for the end of May. We're finalizing that as well. Until then, I think it's time to do the wave. And wave goodbye to Toni, of course, support her work. If you want to leave me a PayPal or anything where we can contribute, Toni, definitely do that. And I'll post it tomorrow along with the posing photo here. And above all, take care of all yourselves as well. Beauty, great to see you. Hope to see you again soon. Thinking of friends we'll be seeing in the next few weeks. Absent friends, RIP Lucci and Debbie Kirk, who passed away recently a few days ago. The list is sadly going on, and hopefully we'll hear some word of Rich Boucher. So far, it's been a lot of nothing, and hopefully we're going to change that. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you again soon. Thank you, Toni, and thanks to all of you. Could be like this every week.
Thank
All we
you.
need is you. Take care.
Thank you.